everybody. So this is going to be my third and final video for the Little Dresses for Africa organization. And this project is their Sani Pani. It is a reusable menstrual cloth, basically. And as you may have known from my previous videos, they collect these, take them to Africa. They have their whole distribution system all set up and everything so they can get them to the appropriate people. But what they are recommending or asking for is for, people like us at home to go ahead and get these things put together for them. So we've already made the little dresses for girls. We've made the little boys' breeches out of t-shirts, and now we're going to make these. So on their website, there is a downloadable pattern. It's 2 pages. Instructions are on one page, and then there is a cutout on the back. And what I would recommend is make sure when you print it out that you double check the measurements. So on the pattern itself, it has measurements on it. Make sure on your printout that actually matches, that you're printing at actual size and not reduced. Okay, so the materials that you're going to need is 100% cotton flannel and 100% cotton batting. It's really important that it's cotton and not polyester. Don't do that. We need the absorbency of the cotton. And I've actually already made up a couple. So these are them. The pattern for the batting is slightly smaller than the pattern for the flannel. So that's going to really help us put it together. This is a very quick project. So let me go ahead, turn the camera down, and we'll get started. Okay, so here is their instructions. So when you're cutting out the lining, here's the back piece. As you can see that the lining is smaller than the other. So I have them cut out here. I did print it out too. And again, you want to double check and make sure that these measurements are true on your fabric here. So what you're going to need to cut out is, of the flannel piece for each cloth, you're going to need to cut out 2. And I would say pre-wash your flannel. This has been pre-washed and it is 100% cotton. I've got them like that, okay? And then out of the lining, it says 3 or 4 of cotton batting. And I think that's going to depend on how thick your cotton batting is. So I had some scraps, and if you can see, it's like a very fat 1/8 of an inch, a skinny 1/4 inch type thickness, okay? I also have this brand new pack that I had bought. And I think that it is thinner. So what I'm saying, what I am interpreting this to be is if you're using a cotton batting that is thinner, like this looks to be less than 1/8 of an inch thick, use 4 layers. Of a thicker one like this, I am using 3, okay? And once I stack them all together, that's probably about 1/2 inch thick. All right, which seems like a lot, but it actually does work out, okay? So for each unit, you're going to need about that much of batting, 3 or 4 layers, however, and this, okay? So once you have them cut out, you're going to need to stack them together, all right? So I've got it so that it's laid out here, and you can see the flannel is about a 1/4 inch bigger all the way around than the batting, right? And I'm just pinning it in 4 places because when I go over to my sewing machine, I'm going to have to be really careful and make sure that they match up as I'm sewing it. Now before I go over to my sewing machine, I want to tell you, it says that you can serge around the edges or zigzag. And I am choosing to zigzag. And the reason is serging can go very fast. And you have to be able to get in there and hold it really closely so that those 2 sides are going to match up. And with that blade going and everything, there's just a whole lot of ways that it can get skewed off and everything and just not line up well. So what I am choosing to do is zigzag carefully all the way around it once and then come back and do it again. Okay, so I'm going to end up with 2 rows of zigzagging going all the way around. It's going to overcast it, but it's also going to hold it really securely. Another thing that I've learned from, because I make like washcloths and things like that, if you just serge around something, washing it enough, if those serged ends are not really securely buried in each other and everything, it's going to come unraveled as you wash them. And I think that doubling the zigzagging is just going to be a better option, at least for me. You know, you do you, but this is how I'm going to work it. So I'm going to take you over to my Pearl, my Meister machine, which is a zigzag machine, and show you how I can zigzag all the way around it. Okay, so this is Pearl, you know, just old school German-made vintage sewing machine, but she does have a zigzag. And so I'm going to be setting it over at the widest zigzag. And for at least my first round, I'm not doing really close stitches. I'm probably having it set, well, these are in millimeters, probably about 3. Oopsie, didn't see that, but probably about 3. So not setting my stitch length, not at like a basting stitch, not at a tiny stitch somewhere in between, but the widest possible zigzag is what I'm doing. Okay, so I am going to start it over here on the side using a little pointy awl. I also have a screwdriver. Sometimes that's handy for when you need to get your fingers in right underneath the presser foot, okay? So I'm making sure they're lined up there, and I'm going to get started. And my first round, it's not going to be lightning fast, you know? We're just going to take it a little bit at a time here. Probably about an inch or so, but making sure that those 2 edges are lined up. Get it there, leave the needle down. Oops, my light moved, sorry about that. And then go ahead and get the next little bit lined up. Over here. And just keep going slowly all the way around, okay? And then once I get around once, then I'm going to come back, and the second round will be a lot faster, trust me. And I can go back and do it over a second round. Okay, so I'm almost all the way around, so I'm going to go ahead and clip off these tail threads here so I can just keep on going right over it. And there I go. And actually I'm going to make my stitch length even a little bit narrower now. In the second pass, like I said, it's a lot faster. I can just go all the way around one more time. So I'm going to end up with 2 rows. Okay, so there you go. That's the edges there. I have a white thread on the bobbin side, so you can probably see that a little bit better. Very basic. Now, the next thing they want you to do is they say 1 or 2 rows of stitching straight down the middle. I guess 2 would be like that. I'm just doing 1, so I'm going to flick this back to a straight stitch and put it approximately in the middle. Back stitch and go straight down. And I'm holding it out like this on both sides to try to keep it from, you know, wanting to wrinkle up too much. Get down here, back it up to lock it in, call it good. Okay, so there you go, now it is quilted, all right? And that is basically it. From this point, they just want you to put 2-inch or so safety pins onto it so that they can be then pinned into the panties. Okay, so at this point I'm grabbing a couple safety pins. I don't think there's a right or wrong side, but that big quilting, hang on, let me move you up here. That big quilting is going to help it, you know, to stay together and mold and form, you know, when you know, you know. So then I'm going to go ahead and just put a couple safety pins in here onto the back, and then that is it. Now they do also recommend, if you can, it says they need girls sizes 14 or 16 or women's small underpants. So I've ordered a set of like a 10-pack of cotton Hanes girls size 14 underpants. And when those come in, I will include those in the pack. I'm not too sure how many pads they include with each panty for the girls and everything, but I just think it's fabulous that this is going to give these girls a way to continue their education, continue with a real life and a chance to advance. It's amazing that something as small as this that we take for granted can change a life so much. So I'm just going to continue making them up. I've got a lot of batting and a lot of flannel scraps. But this is the, oopsie, this is their address where you can send it, okay? And again, if you can include the panties to go with it, that would be fabulous. But I just want to say thank you for sticking with me for this 3-part series on the Little Dresses for Africa project. I think they're a great organization, and if you can do something for them, fabulous. So thanks a lot for watching. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.